Harley B presentation here. About dealing with Cosmo scooters first, a lot of people had questions how to remove and change these back wheels out on these KINETIC scooters. I don't normally use profanity in my videos, but this guy has me so riled up. My blood pressure has been up. This thing's been here since October, and all he does is give me broken and stupid bad parts. I ask him to his face nicely, because we're going to go down and video him in a couple of weeks. I got to cool off. I've been dealing with bad business after bad business, and it becomes sometimes a reflection on you and people. But that's the original wheel. It has a spline shaft. I actually dropped it off and had my buddy take it apart so I could expedite things here, make things expedited, and get this back together. And as you can see, this clown gave me a front wheel with the bushing and the bearing. This was covered. It was in a package. I don't open things until I get them here. It's his rule of thumb when instructions and different things fall out in serial numbers, which might eventually become important. Even the finish wasn't nice on this wheel. This guy really ruined my thunder trying to restore this bike, and then I got to try to compensate the guy that originally gave it to me somehow. I don't think he could. I really don't. But anyway, after you got to loosen the 3 bolts on the engine that hold the engine, you got to remove the exhaust, and that's your brake cable. So there's a belt, the drive belt most scooters have. Now we're going to go back into bad lighting, and I'll have to move the scooter. My little buddies are here. They know I'm upset. They know when Dad gets angry. In here, there's 2 screws in the front of the engine, right there, and then right there's the 3rd one. And after you remove the exhaust, there's only 2 bolts, where it bolts to the motor, right there. And then this one, I made a stud here because the other bolt trying to get it in there was a pain in the ass. I make things a little bit tighter, a little bit better. I'm used to race cars, so I made my own mount for that. And then you got to remove the drive chain, which is just simply flipping the tensioner the other direction. That's all it took. And then there's 4 bolts, 2 here, 2 there, and the wheel drops right out for you. So that's the KINETIC scooter. The bad news. I got to go to the bad news. I'm trying to get my temperament. Normally that's why I smoke, so I don't strangle idiots, especially ones in California, or like I'd like to strangle this guy. This guy's a deliberate shyster. He's a clown in my book. He doesn't care. I drive 144 miles round distance with my truck the last 5 or 6 times for this scooter and all the miles I put on it. The bad news is there's a freewheel here, and it's got this nut, so you need one of these special wrenches. He doesn't sell them. You can get them at a bicycle shop, but you're probably going to have to, after you take the wheel off, go get it. The bad news is the wrenches sell anywhere. The cheapest I found these is $9, $10. Or the guy that I bought this from, I think he charged me about $15, $16 for it at the time. But save your old tire in your tube if it's decent. Armor all it, preserve it a little bit, put some preservative, Rugicide on it. That's basically it, to taking the back wheel off the scooter. It's fairly simple. Once you get the drive belt unhooked off the engine and get the engine slid back and the exhaust off of it, you pop the belt, take off the cable. Here's the 2 bolts that I showed you on the one side of the wheel, and there's the other 2 bolts on the other side of the wheel. That's it. It's kind of common sense, other than, like I said, when you don't take something apart and you got to start out early in the morning just to get home at a decent time, and the guy fucks you with bad parts all the time. There's no telling. This guy, I don't know what his, I don't know why he's doing it to me, but I'm going to purposely embarrass him on video. He deserves it. He deserves everything he gets. He deserves to be sued. I'm going to report him to the Attorney General's office for the shit that he's doing. He has no cataloging, is what he's telling me. Then he tells me he finds instructions. It's that he's got to look for it. If you're going to sell something, this guy's repeatedly giving me the bad parts, wrong parts. I've got to remachine stuff to make it fit the bike. I don't know. I have no answers. I don't know why people do the things they do. I guess it's desperate times. Everybody's hungry for $1. it's just been miserable to me. It's just been miserable that this guy would disrespect somebody as much as he has disrespected me. Um, it's no wonder I said to him, I said, there are people that would have walked through my door with a gun at me, thinking it's my fault. It's the incompetence, as I stated, with the industry. Today, nobody can read a veneer, a tape measure. So now the companies have made up all kinds of fruity names for products, and you have to guess what it is. It's like a slap in my face for getting a college education, learning how to read things. I put myself through the school of hard knocks, too. There was a lot of jobs. I just took it to learn about the industry over the years, different things. Like I said, I was a reservist and a flight wing commander. I have a vast scope of things. But when people deliberately do shit like this to you, it's utterly insulting. It's like a slap in the face for me going to school that everybody is so sloppy, so lazy, and they could disrespect you and still get away with it because they can hide behind the law. They're lawyers. These are the types of things that tradesmen, you wonder why you get socked in the eye some places with a big bill when you go there. This is a lot of the stuff that you're paying for behind the scenes is because America has become that uneducated to be able to read simple measurements, cataloging. Nobody can even use a computer, half the people that I'm dealing with. Oh, well, my boss has got to do that. Only he can use the computer. And, well, you might as well go out of business. I don't know, like I said, what this guy's modus operandi is. This is terrible that he would do something like this to somebody. Like I said, I've got to explain to the guy that owned this that he couldn't pay me enough money to get it back unless he wants to pay me around $1,000. I mean, today was a $250 day, and it was non-productive. Now, who pays for that, me or him, in business? Somebody can answer me that question, because I don't know how to handle these things. It was a different story when I went in business to explain to people. People were educated. People could use the cataloging. People would take their time to make sure that you got the right parts. That's why I build a product myself. And usually when it goes out of here, if it has a flaw, I take care of it. As I was explaining, even about like the chain and stuff that I buy, different things, you're buying it from overseas, and one factory might be totally modernized. They might have another factory that's operating with machinery that's substandard. It's left over from World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam era. You don't know what you're buying, so there is no standards to the industry to this date. That's why you get one engine, the wrist pin's bad, another engine, it functions flawless and beautiful from the Chinese. It's why I got to basically take them all apart, a brand new product, and I've got to check and proof it and make sure it's any good before I sell it over here. And this is how hard they are screwing the consumers that are screaming about this stuff going on. And our legislators and congressmen, they're so vested in these foreign investments. This is why you're getting screwed like this now. It's become the normal mode. They can get a lawyer and make some sort of excuse. I've made 5 trips down there, and each time I have not gotten the right part. Each time. Some of the stuff he's had to mail me. Why is he deliberately doing that to somebody? That you cannot get what you want to pay for and leave with the product. It is terrible. It's very terrible. It's not good. So that's a Harley B video. It's a tip that you're educated, you can read a mic and a scale, and you call the company and they got to call it some fruity name, and you've got to go through the internet and hope you find the right fruity product with the right fruity name so you can communicate with that stupid person. People, that is not fair to us tradesmen. It's not fair to the people that paid for the educations and paid for the vocations and work in these industries to get hammered like this by people. It is just not fair.